I wrote a song for you and all the things you do, and it was called Yellow, sung by Coldplay. Other songs about yellow include Follow the Yellow Brick Road, Goodbye Yellow Brick Roads, Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree, and Mellow Yellow, popular colour in songs. But let's have a think about how could yellow work for your brand and how could you use yellow in your branding? I'm Lynn Stainthorpe, I'm a brand strategist. I'm all about making your brand human, and I work with eco-conscious, socially conscious, purpose-driven business owners and entrepreneurs. I think of yellow as an uplifting, upbeat, optimistic colour. It's quite smiley. Think about emojis, post-it notes, they get your attention. So it's a joyful, happy, optimistic, positive colour. Let's have a think about other aspects of yellow. So it's the colour of sunshine. It's the colour of the sun in astrology. And that's the planet that distills the very essence of you, your essential nature. Spiritually, it's the colour of the solar plexus chakra. And this is said to be associated with your identity, your fire, your ego. That's got a lot in common with the astrological meaning. Yellow is also a royal colour. My daughter tells me that it's the Queen's favourite colour, which is quite interesting because it has been associated with royalty through the ages. We have the Sun King over in France with his golden fleur-de-lis, and in China it was the colour that was used by the emperors. In fact, at one time it could only be worn by the emperors. That was a bright egg yolk type of yellow. What this does is it shows you how colour can be meaningful for your brand and how you can draw on the positive aspects of colour in the way that you use yellow in your branding. So you can see that what I've done is I've pulled together the associations of colour, the symbolism of colour, and the psychological meaning of colour. Not to forget, yellow is also a colour that has a physical impact too. So this is where there are no bad colours, but every colour has an upside and every colour has a downside. Yellow can actually have a physical effect on us. It can be quite stimulating, and too much yellow and too much bright yellow could be overstimulating. And it's said that it can also, because of this, it can also induce anxiety. So that's just to be wary about. It's a great colour, but let's use it thoughtfully and meaningfully. Let's think about your brand and yellow. So how's your brand positioned? Is it a brand that is designed to appeal to children or the parents of children? In which case that upbeat joyousness could be really relevant. What about your brand value proposition? Is your brand value proposition uplifting? Is it upbeat? And again, this is why yellow can help reinforce that positivity and optimism. What about your brand values and your brand personality? So if your brand personality is cheerful and optimistic, again, there's a role for how you could use yellow within your brand colour palette. And there are different ways that you can use yellow in your brand colour palette. You could have it as the main colour, you could have it as an accent colour. And also remember that colour affects colour, so you can use yellow in combination with other colours. If we look at a couple of examples, first of all, yellow and black. Now, these are said to be nature's warning colours. So what's yellow and black? Wasps are yellow and black. Bees are yellow and black. And they both have stings. So think about who's using yellow and black in their brand colours at the moment. Extinction Rebellion. And they've got a story about warning. What about how yellow and black's used? It's used in hazard warning tape. So yellow and black together convey that message and that meaning. So think very carefully if you're thinking about using yellow and black for your brand and in your branding. Other combinations, yellow and blue. So IKEA IKEA use the colours of the Swedish flag, that bright blue and the bright yellow, and they are a brand that is positive, optimistic, cheerful. It's all about a value conscious approach to decor and decorating, and overall it's very upbeat. So the colours really help reinforce what that brand's all about. Another example, yellow and red, very famous example, is McDonald's, where we have the golden arches used with red. And again, this is a brand that is positioned to the parents of children, where we have Ronald McDonald dressed in his stripes with his red shoes. And these colours again reinforce that cheerful, upbeat, positive approach. And also what you see with the golden arches is how yellow is a standout colour. Really grabs attention. You can see those golden arches from meters away. And then we have yellow and green. So yellow and green, that's how, if you take green from an eco-conscious point of view or a health point of view, injecting yellow into that combination with green can add a ray of sunshine. In fact, in the last few months, I've worked with clients where we do have an injection of yellow in that colour palette. Yellow isn't the main colour, but yellow is we've used yellow to inject that positivity and that fire, that sunshine. So one example is with an eco-conscious client where we've used greens with the yellow, and another is actually a videographer who's all about bringing your personality to the forefront, and there we're using yellow to emphasize that positive, cheerful nature, and we're using it with red and blue. That's my brief overview of yellow and how it could be relevant for your brand and your branding and how you could use it. A couple more things to take note of. One, don't use yellow for text unless it's huge, because it's really hard to read against a white background or a pale background, and it's also quite hard to read if you use it against a very dark background like black. So use it for emphasis, but don't use it for text. So let me know what yellow means for your brand or how you're using yellow. And if you want to stay up to date with my latest work on colour or with what's going on in the world of branding, then do subscribe to my channel and subscribe to my newsletter. Speak to you soon.